Hey guys, my name is Lauren. This is the Backyard Farm. Today I'm going to be shooting a garden tour, so I really feel like so much has changed within the past week and I'm excited to share it with you. So to start, here is my herb container. I do have some flowers in here, but mostly herbs. Here's my rosemary. This is my lemon basil. This is a Indian blanket flower. I used to have 3, but I moved them around my pot, so I put one here and I also put one over on this side right here. Okay, so this is borage that I started from seed. There's another one, another borage, and on the back here you can see my Cuban oregano. It's gotten really big since the past week. This is one of my yellow bell pepper plants and it's just doing awesome. Over the past week it's gotten really big and it's really bushed out quite a bit and it's loaded with peppers. There's one here. I saw one. There's a bunch of little babies starting, and there's another one over here. So it's really exciting. Okay, so next to the bell pepper, I have a tomato plant that is very, very tall, and I'm thinking I'm going to have to pull this out soon because the production's been a lot lower, and it's just all the leaves keep falling off, so I'm not really sure what's going on with that. This is just another branch outward from it, which I probably should have pruned early on, but I let it go and it's produced lots of fruit, so that's okay. Down here I have a very sad looking Marconi pepper plant, and I've given it some fish fertilizer about I would say a week, just like a week ago, really, maybe a week and a half ago. And it has just put out tons of flowers, and you can see all these little baby leaves coming out. All this is new growth. So it's really, that fish fertilizer has really helped it. And it put on most of these peppers within the last week and a half. So that's really exciting. I think it's coming back. Okay, and right next to this Marconi pepper, I planted over here one of my husband's ghost peppers or boot jolokia peppers that I grew for him. And this is the, let me back up. Right here and here, this is the base of my sugar baby bush watermelon plants. I tried to spill them out over in the grass that way so I could have more room in my bed, but a couple of the tendrils have come up through here, through my bed, and that's okay too. So I don't mind that at all, as long as it's not choking out my plants. So I've been working it around my stuff, I guess, to keep it just out of the way. Alright, so next to my peppers and my sad giant tomato plant and my watermelons, in the same bed I have some Brussels sprouts. I have 2 growing here, and I have one over here. So I also have one in the other bed, but I'll show you that when I get over there. These have been producing, I've gotten a lot of Brussels sprouts off of them. Yeah, but I just think it's getting too hot for them. You can see them along here. I'm probably going to go ahead. I wanted to save these for seed, but I don't really, I'd rather have more room to plant more. So I think I'm going to pull these out, or I might just let them flower. I don't know. They're just so big and they're falling on the other plants, so I'm just not really sure yet. But I do have the Brussels sprouts here. They're still going, just very slowly. So between the Brussels sprouts here, I have my red romaine lettuce, which I literally took a flower stalk and I sprinkled it and patted it down lightly and all of this lettuce has grown. I'm really surprised that the lettuce is growing because it's really hot here in Florida, and so that is really surprising to me that it's still going. But you can see that it is starting to bolt now. These stalks are starting to get really tall. Right here, you can see them start getting super tall. You can start seeing them getting super tall, thicker stalks, and they're going to bolt up and put flower heads off the top and create seeds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make a big salad out of this before it ends up going to seed, because I already have tons of this seed and I don't need this. So I'm just going to make a salad with it and get it out of the garden. So I still have kale growing too, and I have 2 left. One of them just died. I think it's just too hot for them. And I've still been harvesting off of these 2, and yeah, they've still been good, but I think they're just slowing down a lot, and I think they're pretty much done. So I might just pull these and give them to my chickens to clear out this area of the bed. So over here, I planted 2 of my husband's ghost peppers. There's one here and one over here. Peppers don't mind being closer together. You can actually even plant 2 together. Like if you have 2 sprouts that come up together, you can plant them together and they'll do just fine. They like to hold hands, I guess, as people say. Alright, so next to these ghost peppers, I have a basil plant, which is getting really tall and bushy. It's loving the heat, and I've been pruning it. I did a harvest last week of this to dry in my herb drying rack, and it's just really bushed out again. I could probably do another harvest off of it. And then going this way, I have this sunflower plant that is still flowering, little ones. I've been cutting the heads off as they've been making little seed heads and just giving them to my chickens. And here's that watermelon. You can see the vine going around the edge of the bed. So this is a tomato plant that I had volunteer over in my other bed, and I moved it here, and it seems to be doing fine. So a couple of the branches I had to prune off because they looked really sad, but it's doing fine now, so hopefully that will make a comeback. And then right here I have some of these red sunflowers growing. And I'll get that from the other side. I'll probably get a better view if I can. This one's not open yet, but it looks like it will be probably tomorrow. So there's that. That's really pretty. It's like a bright orange sunflower. Okay, and then down here in this corner I have an okra plant. This is a Jing orange okra, and it did have some bug damage when it was younger. You can see here in this leaf, but it's not having any issues anymore, and it's gotten a lot taller, so that's good. So my sugar babies melons are right here, and like I've said, they just sprawled over. So I currently have 3 watermelons on there. This one over here is probably almost ready to harvest, but not yet. The spoon leaf is dried up, but the tendril is still green. You can see under my finger. So, but soon, I'm thinking maybe in a week or so, this one will be ready. Up and I'll show you. So I have 2 raised beds here and here. There's my chicken coop, and then here's my other 2 raised beds. So in this one, here's my avocado tree. I actually just got new, I've got some succulent soil. I'm going to be transplanting the avocado tree into this big pot, which is why it's here. So here's some more red sunflowers. They start out this really dark orange, and then they fade and look really pretty too. And this one is just so heavy that it's falling over. Oh, there's a bee. I do not want to get stung. So just gonna back up. So this big bushy plant here is my Tabasco Pepper plant. I gave everything in my garden except for root crops a fish emulsion fertilizer. I mixed 2 tablespoons of it with 1 gallon of water. I think it's 1 tablespoon to 1 gallon. You'd have to check the directions on your, if you have it on your package, but it's something like that. And I just watered everything in my garden, and everything's just exploded with growth. They really liked it. And this is, my Tabasco pepper has started flowering, which you can see here. There's one there. All these little flower buds. Here's another one. And so I'm really looking forward to hoping to try to make my own hot sauce. So here's my tomatoes. This one, I'm not sure what the variety is, but the leaf curl has been really bad. So whatever variety this is, I wish I knew. I didn't label it. It just doesn't like the heat. That's all that is. It's not liking all the really hot weather here. But it is flowering, so I'm hoping to get at least 1 tomato so I know what variety it is, and then I can make sure I plant this one in the fall here instead of the spring. So here is a zinnia, which is about to open up here soon. More tomatoes. And this one actually has, I believe this is the yellow pear tomato. That's what the tomato shape looks like. But this one actually is setting fruit, so that's exciting. And all of these are flowering now, so I've been watching and just waiting for fruit. But here's another one with flowers. So there's my Zucchini rampicante going up here. And that's my brother's truck, so don't mind that. And my cantaloupe from this side of the planter. Over there I have some collard greens that are planted and another tomato. Okay? So we move over. Here are my 2 zucchini plants. And they are huge. I actually went in there and pruned them. I followed on YouTube, I followed the video from Deep South Homestead on pruning zucchini and squash plants, and that's the method I used, if you want to look it up. But it has really opened up my plants, and I actually have my first, where is it? There it is. Sorry, I got chased out of there by a bee. But anyway, has my first zucchini right there. Super exciting. And then in this one is just huge. Before I pruned it, it was just massive, and I pruned it a lot, and it's doing really well. It seemed to like it. But there's another zucchini that was pollinated yesterday. So I don't think I really showed a lot of these, but these are bush beans. They are Royal Burgundy and Contender beans, bush variety, and they are all flowering. See right there? So we will have beans soon. These were super productive in my fall garden, and so I planted a bunch more. I think I have around 20 bushes, give or take a few, which is less than we had in the fall, but I'm going to see how they produce in the heat and see how they do. And that will tell me whether I should keep these for the fall or the summer. But so far they're doing really well. I haven't had any bug problems with them in the fall or the spring planting yet, so hopefully it stays that way. But they are flowering, which is very exciting. So hopefully we'll get beans soon. So we keep walking over. This is a Mongolian giant sunflower. I have some Thai basil here and another ghost pepper planted there. then we go over here, and these are, I have some sunflowers here. And this is all watermelons. So on this side I have Clay County yellow neat. And I actually found my first pollinated one that I could find anyway. Right there, which is super exciting. And I'm just letting these spill out of the beds. And I'm going to try to direct them that way, over yonder. So, and then here are more sunflowers that I have growing. I just really like growing sunflowers. They're super pretty, and I really like the varieties with the long stems, because those are really good for cut flowers for the table. So I'm going to turn around over here and show you what's in this garden bed. So I still have my Christmas pole lima beans. I've harvested a ton of these and they just keep giving. I just come out here every couple of days and check them. They're just covered in them. So there's more there. Oh, there's a stink bug. Get it off. But there's just tons of beans in here, and they just keep giving. So over here I did have 3 cucumber plants, and they had downy mildew, and I did have to take them out. They were just looking terrible, so I did not get any cucumbers off of those, sadly. But I took them out and I planted some Chicago pickling cucumbers all along this trellis. There's a little butterfly there hanging out, and it looks like it's laying eggs on my lima beans. So we're gonna go check that out when it moves. Yep, it did lay eggs. So I'm a terrible person, but I'm going to get this off and feed it to my chickens. I have these lovely little moth or butterfly eggs. So back to my cucumbers. These are all Chicago pickling cucumbers, and they also have been doing really well. I tried to plant these before it got too hot. There's actually 3 of them here along this fence, and then there's one here, here, and here. If anybody knows what this is, this yellow spotting, it starts like this and over time it turns like completely yellow. Please let me know. These loved the fish fertilizer as well. They've literally grown like over a foot taller and have really bushed out. The leaves are much bigger, and it's putting off tons and tons of flowers. So all of these have done really well with that fertilizer, so hopefully we'll get some cucumbers soon. So I also have a tomato here, which I'm not sure the variety. Over here I have planted one of my husband's ghost peppers, collard greens, another ghost pepper, and then more collard greens over here. I have a tomato plant here that looks really healthy. This was a volunteer cherry tomato, just a red cherry tomato. I believe it was a super sweet 100, and it's got flowers on it, and it's doing really well. Here's my parsley, which is doing really well. It seemed to like the heat that we've been having. I harvested a bunch of this last week. And my chives, I harvested all of this at like this height, and it's grown that much in the past week. So they're doing really well. This is an okra plant, another Jing orange okra. All the okra I have right now is Jing orange, and it's starting to put on blossoms. You can see the flower buds starting there. Okay, and then I have a volunteer that I'm trying to figure out what it is. It could be a cucumber, a sunflower, or a watermelon. By looking at the leaves that are coming out, I'm assuming it might be a sunflower, which is fine. If it's a sunflower, it can stay here, but we'll have to wait and see. Here is one of my collard greens that I planted. It took a hard hit when I first put it in here, but it seems to be doing well coming back. So here is my basil. This is just sweet basil. Another one over here. And then in this corner I have a really old tomato plant, and the tomatoes have just been cracking a lot. We've been getting so much rain. These are yellow tomato, so this one is ripening. We've been getting so much rain, and it's really affected this tomato, but you can see it's still putting off tomatoes, so we'll see how it does over the next few weeks. And here is my other Brussels sprout plant. It was falling over on top of my plants, so I did put a stake here and kind of leaned it up against this trellis to keep it off of my other plants, and it's doing fine like that. So, and then back to this side where my lima beans are, and I found down here, if you look really closely right there, you can see little volunteer carrots. So that's what these are right here. They look almost like parsley. So I'm going to leave those and see how they do. Yellow meat watermelons are. I'm going to go around the other side of here, and you can just see them coming out. There is a watermelon in there, but it's not ready yet. So I'm just guiding all of these this way into the open area that way. Trying not to put it in the walkways, but it's probably more than likely going to block this walkway that I have here, and I'll probably just end up having to walk that way. When I planted these watermelons here, it was before we decided to build our chicken coop right here. So this was not here when I planted these, and I thought I was going to be able to just sprawl them that way. You know, next season I'll plant these like in this corner or out there on this bed that they can go out in the open area. But this is fine. I don't mind it. I'll just walk around. I'm just really happy that they're putting off watermelons and lots of flowers. You can see they're just doing really well. Oh, and there's a little baby female one. I don't know if that got pollinated or not, but we'll find out. These are my Georgia rattlesnake melons on this side. And then we come over here, and these are my Kajari melons, which I am pretty upset about. We have gotten so many, they look like they're doing really great growth-wise, but we have gotten so many inchworms that they've just been getting a lot of the leaves, but then I also found they've also been getting into the fruit, like you can see here. I'm leaving this because I'm just going to give it to my chickens when it is ripe, and you can see it's starting to turn orange here, so it will be fine. But there's definitely a little caterpillar in there. You can see the hole, and you can see it's droppings, so it's definitely in there eating it. I'm hoping it will ripen and I can give this to my chickens, but we'll see. I do have another one here, We've been getting so much rain that they've been cracking. So this one is no good anymore. So I'm just gonna pick this off and give it to my chickens as well. They will eat the inside of this and they love it. But yeah, I've been kind of bummed because it's just, I've had to pick so many off because of the bugs. Ooh, and that is a leaf-footed bug right there. I don't know if you can see that. I hate those things. They're creepy and they fly at me. So I'm going to kill that. In my chicken coop right now, I'm going to give them this one that has split open. You can actually see the fruit inside of there. So they are all excited and coming. I'm going to have to, watch out, I'm going to have to stomp on it to crack it open. They're going to eat the seeds there. And then this I do break open for them into smaller pieces, or at least just in half, so that they can get into it because it has a rind on it. I think that one landed upside down, so I'll have to turn that over for them. And they'll eat the entire fruit out of the rind. So I've given a couple of these to them already that have also split, and they'll just eat the whole inside. They really like it. So I watch the Cardinals and Blue Jays every day. They will literally sit on the trellises here and they will get in the vines and just pick bugs off of them, which is really cool. And they haven't touched my squash yet. I have harvested 2 of them off of here, which you can see in my previous harvest video, but they've just been eating the caterpillars off, which is really cool. But even though these get caterpillars on them, they don't seem to be bothered at all. They just keep growing really strong. These are hollow stem variety, so they also do not get vine borers, which is really cool. So down here I planted cantaloupe, and the old growth looks kind of sad, but the new growth is looking awesome. I gave it the fish fertilizer as well, and it's been doing really well. And I really need to tie this up here. I use this Velcro tape. I'll just use this piece, but I'm going to do that real quick. There we go. So I just keep tying it up, and it doesn't really seem to like to be trellised, but that's okay. It's helping with aeration so I don't have mildew issues, and the leaves can get bigger because it gets better air. So that's what I have growing here. Trellis, there's just another tomato here. If you're wondering about these little frogs, I just like frogs, and my brother bought me these. So my kids like hide them in the gardens, and they like to find them and hide them again and everything else, and they think they're cute. So that's what those are for. But here's my Tabasco pepper again over here, and I'm going to turn over here. So these are my jalapeno plants. I have 2 bushes, and they are doing really good. They are setting fruits. You can see here and here. And there's tons of flowers and other tiny fruits on there. There's also, I've seen, this one right here, this jalapeno back here. So, and we tried jalapeno poppers for the first time, which are cream cheese cut in inside of cut jalapenos and then wrapped them in bacon, and they were so good. My kids loved them. It took all the heat out of them, and they were just really yummy. So we're probably going to do that with these. I've also heard of trying cowboy candy, which you can, but I don't think I'm going to have enough to do like a big batch of that or anything just off of 2 plants. But Yeah, that's that. So next to it I have a zinnia, and over there I have a tomato plant. This was a volunteer that I moved over here, and it's doing really well. So in this bed I have my sweet potatoes, and I did not give these the first fish fertilizer, but they're doing really well as well. They've liked the rain we've been getting. So this is a purple one, this is an orange yam one, and then another purple one over there. They're doing really well. This morning I planted some green bean pole variety seeds here. They're Kentucky Wonder. I planted them last year and they grew super huge vines, and they did not grow more than like 5 beans. So I figured I would give them one more shot. So I planted some here along this half of the trellis. This is Malabar Spinach, which is a heat tolerant green that you can grow. And the leaves are kind of more waxy, almost like a succulent feel. But it's really good. I tried a piece of it and it's really yummy. So this will be nice to have during the hot summer months to add to our salads. So I've got 3 of those here. I did plant them there, but they didn't sprout, so that's why I planted the beans there. Over here between the 2 cattle panels, I have a zinnia plant, and this is a Mongolian giant sunflower, which is just beautiful and massive. Like, the leaf is way bigger than my hand. So this is probably about 3.5 feet tall so far, and just really pretty. Okay, so over here I planted some more Kentucky Wonder pole beans. I had to take out my Jalapeno pumpkins. They were not doing well, so I just fed those to my chickens. So this is a cucumber plant I have here, and the old growth looks terrible, but the new growth is looking great, covered in flowers, so that's good. And then I have another Mongolian giant sunflower here, and this is my Seminole pumpkins. This Seminole pumpkin plant, it's one vine, and it's probably 15 feet long now. It goes all the way over here. I'll show you from this side, but it goes all the way over here from over there, and this is a 4-foot wide bed, so, and it's curved, so this is probably about 5 feet long, and then it goes all the way down here. So that is a huge vine. It's about 15 feet long. So, and it's doing really great. These are also bug resistant pumpkins. They're a hollow stem variety like the Zucchini rampicanto and the vine, and they're just doing awesome. So I have 2 tripods here, which I used to have beans on, but they didn't do very well, so I pulled them out. And I planted some more Christmas pole lima beans. I planted 2 seeds per pole, and they're gonna grow up these and do really well. Over here, these are more sunflowers on the block, in the blocks on the end, and that is a bush bean. And over here I have 3 vines that are a white crookneck squash, or also known as a Illinois squash. From the seed packet I bought it on, it said Illinois squash or white crookneck, and those are doing really great. The old foliage looks terrible, but the new growth is just amazing, and this just started flowering, so that's really exciting. And these squash they will get huge if you let them. So here's another volunteer tomato that's been seen better days, but it's recovering from transplanting. It's doing well. So on this, I put a trellis here along here, and on this I had planted some Mitchell family cowpea vines and the birds went and ate them all. But I just went and planted a whole bunch more. There's still one that the birds didn't eat, a little sprout, so that's good. And then these are just some beans, some bush beans. I did plant bush beans all along here, but not all of them grew. So I have about 20 altogether. And here is a purple Prince zinnia. They look more hot pink to me, but they're just beautiful. I'm really happy with these. This is one plant, and I planted it in the ground, and they just get so big, and they're just gorgeous. And look at all those pretty buds that are gonna come up. These are just one of my favorite flowers to grow in the summer here. I get no bug problems, and they just do really well. So I keep forgetting to show you this, but I have a lemongrass plant. This is one of my husband's requested plants. I've had this for a few months, and it's, I would say, tripled in size. My daughter yesterday ripped a whole bunch of it out. So if you see some bare spots here, she gave it to the chickens. I was like, no, but that's okay. Yeah, see, there's like tear marks right here, but that's from her, but that's okay. It's doing really well, so I'm happy with that. So then I have one more garden bed down here. And so we're gonna come over here. And this is just okra, peppers, and there's a candy cane striped zinnia in the middle. That's actually two plants. So they may be two different colors. I'm not sure. So my okra is doing really well, just like over on the other side. This is a sweet violet sparkle pepper. These three are ghost peppers for my husband. I did pinch this one off to see if it would bush out. I've never done it before, but I've heard it works really well. So it's going to be an experiment. We're going to see these ones weren't and this one was, so we'll see how that affects the growth. But I do see a lot of new little leaves shooting out on the sides of the stem. And then over here, I have another violet sparkle sweet pepper. And then if I turn around here, here's our chicken run. I have this pothos plant that my friend gave me. It's doing well. This one looks kind of sad. I don't know, it might be getting too much rainwater because it's been really heavy raining lately, but hopefully it will live. Oh look, this one has a new sprout coming out. It made a baby. Well, that's hopeful. I can always, if this one does really well and the other one doesn't, these plants are really easy to reroot. As you can see along the stem, these are all little root nodules that you can stick in water and it'll grow new roots in just a couple days, and then I can plant it there if that one dies, but hopefully it doesn't die. So over here, I planted some purple potted yard-long beans to grow up this trellis. Chickens are not supposed to eat raw beans from what I've heard. So at first I was nervous about it, but I decided to do it anyway because I have the shade cloth here. So they won't be able to reach up here to get them. And whatever they produce, I'm hoping I'll just be sure to be quick about getting them out before they can eat them. So we're going to try that and see how it goes. Happy places in the garden right now. At first, when we first put this bed in, it's starting to rain, so you may see some rain, but this bed was looking really awful and puny. Everything was dying in it, but it's doing really well now. And these flowers and my peppers and the little tomato, everything is just really filling in nicely, and so I'm just really happy about that. So don't be discouraged. You can just keep continuing and continue to try to feed your plants and grow them, and in due season, you know, you'll be satisfied with it. I just wanted to add that because I was really upset about this whole garden, but everything is just really flourishing now. So, alright guys, so it's raining and you guys have seen my entire garden. So thanks for watching with me. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm definitely happy with what I'm growing right now and in this season. I'm just really happy with it and how big and full it is right now. at the beginning of the season, it's really hard to imagine it all filled in. But, you know, you just keep growing, and when things fail, you just plant new seeds there. And yeah, I'm just really happy with it. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video, and I hope it encourages you. See you next time.